Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother is watching? Or that the Illuminati are planning to take over the world? Have you had an encounter with a space alien today? If the answer to those questions is yes, then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Welcome back to tinfoil hat time. Well, today we want to dig in a little bit deeper on one of those articles I kind of started to go off on the Saturday news. And just in case, I brought the fire extinguisher. This could get hot. Oh boy. We're going to talk about data collection and privacy. Well, greetings everybody. Pseudo Linux, how's it going? Chatter, hello there. Brian the Computer Geek, hello. And JJ Game, hi there. So Pseudo Linux found a game called Tile Molester. I can edit the tile map in an NES game. I'm working on Super Mario Brothers where I replace all the sprites or squares. I've actually seen I've seen a version, I think it was a version of The Legend of Zelda ROM done with all Mario characters. That was kind of interesting. It must be Super Pixel Bros where I can make all the characters squares. Oh, yeah, it's been a fun day. Got a lot done. Well, got a little done. I don't know. All right, so if you recall, on the news on Saturday, you'll remember, hey, Joe Diaz, how's it going there? How's it going? Yo, to you as well. All right, so if you recall, I talked about the Sonos speaker system, so I want to talk about that whole happy mess again today. Of course, we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and actually I found some FTC recommendations, and I'm not sure if it went anywhere. And we're going to look at these, and we're going to see if there's anything we can do. But basically, we're going to kind of talk today about just looking at the privacy issues. Of course, I beat up on privacy a whole lot, but I do because it's an important thing to keep in mind that our data is constantly being collected and harvested, and you either have to be wearing the hat and be considered a crazy paranoid person, or you're just like, it doesn't matter anyway. And, to the people that say it really doesn't matter if they collect all of that data, what I have to say about that is, it doesn't matter until it matters. And once it matters, there's nothing you can do about it. And so we're going to have a look at some interesting things here, and we're going to delve a little bit deeper on the data collection companies and what they're trying to do in that respect. So JJ Game says, I had to make a new tinfoil hat because my old one got swished in my luggage. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, I'm not sure how well these things travel or not, but I know that my brainwaves are protected from EMPs. Actually, I was watching some doomsday preppers last week, and it was making me want to put my hat on. I don't remember if I saw any from thinking an EMP is coming, but regardless, kind of stuff happens. All right, so we're going to dive into look at some articles over here. So if you will remember the article, we have these Sonos speakers, which kind of the lowest price of these you can get is about $200. And they go up to about $500 or so dollars. And basically it's a smart speaker that you can connect in, and any computer device, whatever, you could deck out your whole house, like $15,000-$20,000, whatever, decking out your house and these things. So when you merely walk into the room with your smartphone, it knows where you are and it will play the music there. I'm like, why is this even needed? Really, why is this even needed? Now, I gotta say though, back in high school, I was kind of into the whole music thing, and I had a stereo that would just make a music guy's jelly, man. I had big component stereos. I got rid of those after I was moving around a lot because moving those component stereo systems was just a pain. So, but I had this big component stereos. You had like all these buttons on the front that you could switch between the Laserdisc player, the CD player, the tape deck, the record deck, all these things, the radio, whatever. So you had all these, but then I had actually decked out my whole room and with like 30 speakers in there. It was like totally surround sounded out. It was totally awesome. So I'd sit in there and listen to some Pink Floyd on some totally overdone surround systems. So I get it. And I always thought, if I could wire a house, I'd put, a central stereo speaker system, and I could do buttons and things when I go into different rooms. And that's the way to do it. Just push the button to turn the speakers on, push it again to turn the speakers off. Man, because we don't need the devices that take what you're listening to, send it over the internet, up into the world, across 15 countries, spread that data all over the place to everybody that wants a copy of it, ping it back into your own house so that when you merely walk into the room, the sound plays in there. And so if you were not here for the news on Saturday, then basically this speaker, they are pushing out a new update, security update, whatever, that will require you to enroll in their data collection that you cannot opt out of. You have no choice in the matter. And if you do not do it, then the thing will simply stop working. Hey, Anarita, how's it going there? And so, was it this one or was it the other one? Let's see, which one? Okay. So, according to the PR person, there was this beautiful statement from a PR person. Okay, so I think this is it. Sonos respects your privacy and your rights to control your private data. No, it doesn't. What was I was looking for the statement back to the one company from the PR person. It was just the most hilarious statement ever. Maybe it was linked to this article. But pretty much you have to give this, and I dug deeper into this speaker, by the way, and the speaker absolutely requires you to register the speaker or it will not work. You cannot use this speaker without registering it. To register it, you have to give it your phone number, which they will text verify. You have to give them your email address, your location data, your IP address, your physical address. So all that is required to register it. The device does not work unless you register it. Then they're taking now email addresses, IP addresses, account login information. Additionally, they're taking any other device that's connected to your wireless network, room names, error data, other Wi-Fi antenna. This is crazy. This is a crazy amount of data collection. All right. So essentially here, what is going on is this company is just one of about every other company that's just requiring you to opt into collecting data. And at what point in time will we sit back and open up our brain cells and say, no, I do not want this type of data to be collected. So, let's see, just catching up on some things. Anarita, hello there. Emulated. It is art. Awesome. Do some videos on that if you can, Pseudo Linux. That'd be cool. Hey, LaShark, how's it going there? All right, when I move, I'm going to wire my whole room with my own Raspberry Pi smart system. That's the way to do it. Jumped on a block and it crashed. The music slowed and then bam. Uh-oh. Hit the like button. Yeah, there. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the reminder there, guys. Hit the like button. I am early and I am late. My IQ has been compromised by a YouTube video on cooking hacks. Why are people so stupid? I'm sick of being nice when we want to change this. Yep, and people do not care. It's so natural now that everyone you mention it is like, I don't have anything to hide. Yep, pretty soon we have to give a blood type so we can have access. Yeah, essentially. Sean, I haven't seen Sean before. How's it going, Sean? Cool as Sonos is, I just like my plain old stereo system receiver speakers. Simple and good quality. Privacy concern. It's just like the Amazon Echo. Cool idea, but thanks. Yep. And that's kind of the thing, that I don't mind I love what the tech can do. But man, what the companies are doing with it is just flat out scary. Can't help wonder how many of those people forbid you to add them to your church's prayer list. Yeah, there you go. Let's pray for them, people. They need it. This completely crashes when I crash a block. Uh-oh, that's not cool. All right, so let's. So of course, there's this article here. There's another article over here. Basically, these are cheapest one. The single speaker is like 200 up to the bigger speakers for 500. Basically, it's let's see. Boils down to do as we say or else. If they really respect your privacy and right control data from devices, their privacy in your home, then you'd be able to opt out. So the ultimate problem is the best defense you have against a hacker getting your data and all this stuff leaking out. The best defense is to have your data not be collected. And so any device that wants to collect your data, you should have an absolute opt-in requirement. Like, I don't care if that's a pop-up, would you like to opt into requirements? Give me the option to say no. I do not want you to collect any information. What about crash information? No. No, you cannot collect crash information. In fact, my iPhone here sits here with collecting any crash logs on it because I don't let it actually send any crash logs. I'm afraid that if I plug it into a computer for iTunes is the only way to clear that log out, that it's going to send them all out. So I disconnect the computer from the internet, plug it into a computer on iTunes, clear the whole log out, and then uninstall iTunes, and then I turn the computer back on the internet. That's how I clear my crash logs on my iPhone. But I do not want any of this type of data collection, okay? You want to make it better. Why is it with all this data collection, the product just keeps getting worse? Windows 10 is collecting all sorts of data. Why do they keep on pushing out copies that break things? I mean, that's kind of crazy. Now, of course, this is not the only media type company to do this. If you recall before, Bose was finding themselves at the end of a lawsuit. Now, of course, it was funny. Actually, I didn't pull up their forum post. Anyway, there was a forum post on there somewhere, and they're like, "This is slanderous. This is libel. This is all this." And then you find out that according to their privacy policy, yeah, they do actually collect a lot of information. So this is Bose's privacy policy. They do collect information. They collect software or hardware attributes, device operating system version, hardware model information, your device identifier, such as your IP device, and your device IDs, which you never want to give out your device IDs. There's no legitimate reason Bose has to collect your device ID, because this is a unique thing that can be directly tied back to you. It collects your time zone. It connects information about when you use the app, the network information, such as the network type and the carrier, so they know who your carrier is, information about the products in the app, okay, and how you use the app for your current session and over time, including the media's content, specifically the content you are listening to. Now, mind you, this is not plugging the speakers in and using your speakers. This is if you use the Bose Connect app, which here is their Google Play Store for their Bose Connect app, which you have to use, by the way, to get the, quote, full functionality of the thing. So, of course, we come down here and come down and look at the permissions, and you'll see that in the permissions, it can bind to an accessibility service, view network connections, pair Bluetooth devices, access Bluetooth settings, and full network access. Now, this is a little interesting because this is a lot less information in the settings than I would figure, especially considering their privacy policy over here does specifically specify how much data they're collecting. So they apparently are collecting a whole lot more data than their app says. It'd be interesting if Google would to look into this, or if security researchers look into this. So how do they use the information, understand, resolve app crashes, learn more about how customers use the app, improve the app, test and create new products, and perform internal analytics. How do we share the information? So here's that. Here's their children's privacy. So, this is not the only speaker system that is collecting data on users. Now, Plex tried as well. So if you're not familiar with Plex, this is a media system. And so they attempted to collect data, and I think was it in this article? Yeah. So what happened is once they released this thing that they were collecting a whole bunch more data that nobody could actually opt out of, then a whole bunch of Reddit posts started blowing up. And a whole bunch of users came on here and said, well, they're just going to be done working with Plex. Of course, that's really bad for business. And so Plex comes up and decides that, yeah, they're definitely not going to do that. And then, of course, they give us this information, say, oh, we definitely hear and understand your concerns. We should not have to. See, I would never use Plex at all because they even had the audacity to try this. Once a company tries this, I'm done with them. Okay? So we definitely hear and understand your concerns and really appreciate all the thoughtful feedback we have received over the last 24 hours. We've been working on the tweaks for many of us. Plex, is basically all this. Let's see. Many of you raised some good points that somehow we didn't consider. This is them saving face. They are lying out of their eyeballs. They are so lying. Like, we didn't even somehow think of this. You didn't somehow think that it was be a bad and controversial thing to start collecting every bit of data about your users without having the ability to opt out? No, this is just them trying to say, oh, we were just too busy. We don't know how we've missed this. No, you're lying out your teeth, okay? And so, didn't consider this. We're going to make some important changes to address those. First, it's worth addressing the major themes we've seen. Did you try to sneak this by us? Well, no, they didn't try and sneak this by. So I'm going to give them a pass on that one. Are you going to sell our data? No, God no. Section F U.S. information or whatever. We do not sell it. Yeah, they just share it, by the way. They don't sell it. They just share it. Why'd you remove the opt-out? Over the years, there have been many more exceptions to the opt-out. We've tried to enumerate these exceptions in our privacy policy. It's basically, they want to get rid of the opt-out stuff. Can you still deduce what's in there? Let's see. And so there's some basic stuff in here. So Plesk at least changed their mind and decided not to do this after user outcry. But still, the fact that they tried it, this is why I use Cody. Here's Cody's privacy policy. This is the one I use. Basically, if you read through all this, personal information identifies you, name or address. Basically, it says, how do we get this information? You give it directly, such as when you log in or go onto the forums. Collect it through software and services. So when it connects, it sees what type of device you're attaching to. I don't know if it collects the IP address or not. Try to understand more about the information you've given to us. So if you contact them, if you visit their websites, you'll get analytics. That is it for their tracking, okay? And this is an appropriate amount in this modern age that I'm okay with that. And so that is why I use Cody. I would never use Plesk because their attempt to do this. Now, if you read these Reddit posts, and I just kind of flipped through these, I didn't read all of them, but what some people were saying is there's this MB that probably is just about as bad, except people were saying that Plesk is a whole lot more like, just trust us, we're not doing anything bad. And so you have that kind of thing going for you. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at some comments here because comments are going crazy. Hey, Lance, how's it going there? My speakers cost me $50. Logitech, which I have Logitech audio receiver and Bluetooth headphones, so I can clean the house and listen to podcasts. Yeah, I just walk around with my phone, honestly. Except, actually, the main part of my house is actually connected to the Kodi system, so that's what I can do there. I figure you get a kick out of that one, yeah? Think the free market will weed out stuff like this? Well, the free market would weed out stuff like this, but we don't have a free market anymore. We have a bought and sold market. So, no, it would, but we don't have one. All need prayer, not as bad as we need the new Sonos. Oh, boy. Not when everyone is doing the same stuff. People don't care to be educated to make different choices, and the non-compete clause in the U.S. are making it worse. Yes. You've seen me on here before. I commented last on your live stream earlier in the week. No worries. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm remembering. Just buy a speaker. Yep. Maybe in your country, but I'm in the U.S. run by idiots. Yeah. Simple Bluetooth speakers. See, that's why I'm joining the alien race, Did Super Circus Bros work on Super Pixel Bros now? Hook my device up to my computer and speakers with a wire. Yep. Oh yeah, games these apps Android pushes down are annoying. Never registered any of my devices, only my cell phone, but pretty much other devices. Nope. Plus, I never buy an extra warranty. Most devices have warranty between 1 and 10 years. Yeah, like buying an extended warranty is where companies like Best Buy, Walmart, whatever, they start making all their money. Walmart, by the way, is now pushing Walmart credit cards. I thought they were blocked from doing that for a while. How long has they been doing that? I went to Walmart the other day. Like, you're all right, credit card? No, I use this green paper stuff called cash. Thank you very much, you know. But yeah, extended warranties are a rip. Wire everything to, so my internet, only my wife's laptop has access to wireless, only 2 tablets, but nothing else, so only 3 devices. Yeah. That's right. Kitty approves. Yep. Kitty. Yep. Kitty approves. Not even own a smart TV. Not needed. Those are scary to me. Yeah, absolutely. Smart TVs are absolutely scary. The companies gather information about us. We will have a smart network to manage our lives. Yay! Just what we need. Tiny booth speakers sent to me by the gods. Only thing I have hardwired is my Steam Link. Yep. Works great. Looks like Flat Mario Remix with cubes. I have to make a video about it later. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, do so. That'd be cool. I do have Steam. The convenience is hard to ignore, but I will soon move to Humble Bundle. So on the news that Walmart partnered with Google. Yeah! I didn't talk about that at all. Basically, Walmart and Google are kind of teaming up to do voice-activated shopping to try and beat out, did I say that wrong? Walmart and Google teaming up to do voice-activated shopping to compete with Amazon. I'm just like, okay, we do not need voice-activated shopping. Our shopping is too impulsive as it is, and the easier we make it, the more crap we're going to buy. Like, all right, I got to do it. Alexa, buy unicorn meat. All right. Had to say it. Ways I'm going to work on making changes for privacy and security. All right, let's go ahead and jump back up through some articles. Let's get rid of all these Sonos articles here. Of course, who started a lot of this? Well, some people are saying a lot of this mass collection kind of started. I mean, obviously, Google's been collecting this stuff for a while, but I think Microsoft with Windows 10 was the very first time anybody came up with a way to hardwire the mandatory data collection into the system. I'm not sure if there was more than that otherwise, but pretty much this is kind of it. And so basically, this is an article from ZDNet. They were basically saying Windows 10 needs this off switch for data collection. Like, we get that data collection helps, but in reality, a lot more of the data collection, it's not basic data to help them with figuring out crashes. A lot of it is data to sell ads. And that's what Microsoft is doing. And of course, as you're using Windows, and as they're starting to push Windows 10S onto people, and we're going to see it. We're going to see going into the big box stores, Windows 10S will be pretty much the only option you have unless you want to spend a whole ton of money on a computer. We're going to see that. And with Windows 10S, you cannot change the default search engine. You can barely even install extra web browsers. You're locked into Bing. You cannot install any software that's not inside the store, but if you want the pro version, you got to pay extra money. So yeah, I'll just buy the thing, wipe the thing out, and use Linux. Or better, go to System 76 or one of the other places where you can buy a computer with Linux pre-installed. But basically Microsoft here, they come up with, with their method of collecting all the data. This caused a lot of ruckus. In fact, I liked some of the article. Is it this article? I think, no, it must not have been this one. One of the articles I was looking at was talking about, a lot of the data collection things in the comments. But of course, after about a year and a half and a lot of backlash, a lot of going back and forth with security people saying, yeah, this thing collects a whole lot of data, Microsoft did decide to release the information they're doing with the basic data collection. This is the basic data collection that you cannot disable on a Windows 10 machine. And by the way, if you attempt to override this in the host file, Microsoft does not respect the host file blocks on these particular things. Have a gander at this list. Of course, I've went through this before, so we're not going to go through it fast, but this is all of the stuff that they are collecting on you on their basic telemetry that you cannot turn off. This is crazy, people. That's almost as the size of the Obamacare law, okay? This is the basic telemetry in Windows 10 that you cannot turn off. This is what Microsoft is collecting. Oh boy. No more shopping at Walmart. Dirt Mart. Working towards more privacy and security for me and my mom, it's been a process. Yeah, and you know, once you realize that what you need to do to block and secure yourself down, then it gets to this point where you can sit back and you can go, I feel better that I'm taking some steps, because it calms you down in that you're not constantly being bombarded by the very things that tempt you. Because that's what they're doing. They're collecting information about what you do so they can feed you back the things that tempt you. You know, and that's bad. I mean, that's really bad. What's up with Sonos? My sister has swapped out her stereo for Sonos. All right, Matthew M., you must have come on late. So Sonos is updating, I think it's this week, they're updating their privacy policy, requiring you to opt into it. Like, there's no way to opt out of the data collection. And if you do not update your device, it is likely to brick. So you have to submit to them collecting a whole lot of data about you to continue to use the device. And I will have, when we're done with the video here, I'm going to link my articles into this so you can actually go back and look at the articles about it this week. So what Sonos is up to is they're up to massive data collection that you cannot opt out of collecting, which includes everything on your network, everything on your device, the types of music you're listening to, and a whole lot of other things, including, you know, the layout of your room based on their sensors and things like that. So yeah, I would avoid Sonos. It's pretty scary. It's terrible. They're all about... but they are about all there is in my area. Yeah, absolutely. Unless you shop 100% online. They force companies to sell items at rates that cannot keep the doors open. Yep. If you watch Leverage, actually, there the show called Leverage, which was about like 5 thieves who would take down big companies, you know, use their skills to take down corrupt big companies. In season 5, they actually did an episode kind of bashing Walmart in that respect. I think they called it Save Mart, I think, the store that they took down. But it's neat. Last time I looked, I think you might still be able to find that on YouTube, unless it's been taken down already by a DMCA or whatever. But it's a pretty cool episode. All right, companies feel like if you say no to Walmart, they're idiots because there's no guarantee they'll get in anywhere else and they're forced to sell. Yeah, and that's the problem is Walmart will even work a deal. The company will ramp up a thing, and then Walmart's going to come to them right at the time of delivery and go, oh, no, we're going to give you, less money for that than we initially promised. And the company has no choice but to accept. That's how much of jerks Walmarts are. That's why I really don't like shopping at Walmart. Sometimes I don't really have a choice, but that's the thing. 6 from your site. 6 from your site, huh? Greetings, Wrath of War. Wraith of War? What is that? Wraith of War. Cool. Okay. Cut corners, sell at Walmart, so quality suffers. Yep. Windows 10 switch to Microsoft Pro. You little stupid piece of crap with $50. Yeah, I think this year you can still upgrade it until the end of this year for free. But after this year, upgrading Windows 10s to Windows 10 Pro is going to cost you $50 more on top of the price of the computer. And of course, you have to pay that directly to Microsoft, so they got your credit card number. Oh, yeah. MS is crazy. Yes, they are. That is why I switched to Linux. It is Microsoft that caused me to switch to Linux. She read a book in my school about the privacy and stuff, and then I discovered this channel, which talks more about it. P.S. I still have the book. What is the book? I'm curious. Hi, Daniel Turbs. How's it going there? 5 books in the series. Tested the first level, working on second. Let's see. Windows screwed the pooch. The only way to run Windows free of this junk is get your hand on a Chinese government edition. Yeah, and then translate it to English, or, well, I guess whatever your language is. Soft can do whatever they want. For one, I'm smart enough to use Linux, and yeah, rip Microsoft. It was terrible enough. Used to use it for years, but no more. Linux rocks. Yep. There is only one problem. No problem, Matthew. One program that I still need to run on Windows, and that's my QuickBooks, because I'm using GNU Cache for my content creation stuff, but it is not nearly as good as QuickBooks is. And I don't use online services either. There's about 100 online services that are much like it. So I need to see if there is a web-based one, that's self-hosting web-based one, and I'll run it on my web server. Good Sunday to you, Damiano. I use Linux too, but have Windows 7 for game that will never run on Linux. Stuck on Windows because of Ableton Live. I'm thinking of switching to Linux Ubuntu Studio, Bitwig Studio. It's insane the amount of data they collect. Yep. Yeah, and Ubuntu Studio is awesome too. Here now, and says she loves the kitty sleeping and she can watch it for hours. Yeah. Kitty, kitty. Yeah, there you go. Have to see that. Tom Leverage. Yep, it's called Leverage. They did 5 seasons of it. Timothy Hutton is the mastermind in there. It's pretty cool. Of course, I think all of us, if you like this channel, all of us will probably like the hacker. NK, general question. I'm Canadian. Think about moving to the U.S. for better salary and work opportunities. Do you think it's still worth it? What state, city do you suggest? P.S. I don't like taxes. Wyoming was a nice state. There's no state or local taxes. There's a 5% state sales tax, and the individual counties can opt in for an extra 1% tax for local stuff as well. So you're only paying federal there. Nevada, there's no taxes. Tennessee, there's no taxes, but sales tax really high. Florida may not have taxes, income taxes. Look around for the various states. Now, also consider your cost of living where you're going. It can be worth it, depending also on what your job is. Like if you're self-employed and all you need is a good internet connection, find like a rundown city like Erie where the internet's still good, but the housing price market sucks, because then you can get living really cheap. And as long as you're not on the east side of Erie, it's reasonably safe. So, I mean, city or state, the thing I don't like about Pennsylvania is the taxes are a little annoying. But look around for the list of states that do not have state taxes, and those are the states you would want to move to if the taxes are your concern and you can do your job from anywhere. So look at those. Like Tennessee's nice because they don't have state taxes. I don't think they have local taxes either. They have a higher sales tax to cover that. But the economy's good there as well. So Tennessee's actually not a bad place, which would be a place to look in. Like just out of Nashville, Brentwood, Tennessee is a really nice place. That might be a little higher cost of living. I don't know. Windows 2000 ME can run modern programs and ransomware can't touch it. School will go back tomorrow. Glad to spend the last couple days of summer watching the stream. Awesome, JJ Game. Yeah, another one of my friends probably watching tonight. I'm not sure if he is or not, but he's going back tomorrow too. So, Tuit's customer service is outstanding. I can say that with utmost confidence. Really? All right. See you, Pseudo. Windows 10 also runs hardware ragged and reduces the lifespan. Yeah, it ramps those disks up to 100% constantly. It gets passed until Tom exposes them. Yeah. From Canada, you will move back because it's easier to live up there besides other mouth breathers. Yeah. I don't know. All right. Let's go ahead and have a look at a few more articles here. Let's see. We looked at that. Let's go ahead and have a look at data brokers. So, what happens is when all of these apps and all of these companies, and, you know, like we talked about AccuWeather collecting data, even when the thing was specifically told not to. We talked about all of this types of all this types of data collection. Well, what happens is these companies are sharing data with advertiser networks who are constantly sharing data back and forth. And what ends up happening is you have hundreds and hundreds of data broking companies, which 9 of them seem to dominate the market. So this article here talks about these 9. So of course, Google and Facebook know about everything. And Google and Facebook, both of them will borrow data from these different data brokers. And so they have more data about you than you possibly can conceive of, because it's perfectly legal to sell all this data. But these data brokers, which this particular one called PQ is particularly freaky sounding. There's ID Analytics, Data Logics. Basically, all of these guys do is they borrow and collect data from apps, from advertisers, from websites, from all sorts of kind of things like that. So basically, here's the types of things these companies know about you. Your name, previously used names, address history, latitude, longitude, phone numbers, email addresses, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, birth dates of each child in the household, birth date of family members in the household, demographic data, including age, height, weight, gender, race, ethnicity, country of origin, religion, by surname at household level, language, marital status, presence of elderly parent. Creepy. Presence of children in the household. Creepier, especially if their name is called PQ. Education level, occupation, family ties, demographic characteristics of family members in household. Number of surnames in household, veteran in household, grandparent in house, Spanish speaker, foreign language household. Households with a household who is Hispanic origin or Latino. White collar occupation, blue collar occupation. Work at home flag. Length of residence, household size, congressional district, single parent with children, ethnic, religious ethnicities. Bankruptcies, criminal offense status, judgments, liens, marriage statuses, state licenses, registrations. Voting registrations, social media and technology, electronic purchases, friend connections, internet providers, level of usage, heavy Facebook user, heavy Twitter use, Twitter user with more than 250 friends, that's creepy to know, is a member of over 5 social networks, even creepier to know, online influence, operating system, crap, this one's got cubes, we can't figure them out. Software purchases, type of media posted, upload pictures, use of long-distance calling services, presence of computer owner, use of mobile devices, social media, internet accounts, including Dig, Facebook, Flickr, Flixer, Friendster, High Five, Hotmail, LinkedIn, Live Journal, Space, MySpace, really? MySpace still exists? Twitter, Amazon, Bebo, Cafe Mom, Dailymotion, Match, My Yearbook, NBA.com, Pandora, PhotoBucket, WordPress, and Yahoo. Home and neighborhood data! Yay! Census tract data, address, coded, dwelling type, heating, cooling, home equity, home loan, amount and interest rate, home size, lender, type, length of residence, list price, market price, move-in date, neighborhood, criminal, demographic, and business data, number of bathrooms, number of rooms, number of units, presence of fireplace, presence of garage, presence of home pool, rent price, type of owner, type of roof, year built. General interest data. Okay, I'm done reading. This is the stuff these companies collect on us. Now, here's the problem. These companies collect all of this information, and it is easily trackable as to what we actually have. Now, how much confidence do we have that these unknown, non-transparent companies are not hiring out the cheapest third-party things and putting all of this data on an AWS server without a password? I'll let that soak in. These are the companies we don't know a lot about because these are not public-facing companies. These are corporate-facing companies. These are the companies these data miners, these groups are using in order to track down who they can sell stuff to. And this is why I make such a big deal about privacy. So with the privacy, the less information the companies can find out about me, the less they can target to me the things that will deeply pique my interest, because this whole world is about temptations. Don't forget, I wrote testing and temptations, okay? We are always being tempted, and we are constantly poked and prodded and prodded and poked to find out where the weaknesses in ourselves are. And when we get those weaknesses, we collapse. Now, we could collapse to bad stuff, or we could collapse to simply things such as for example, just spending our money. And the reality is we have to be cautious about spending our money. And the thing is that this type of data collection should be flat out illegal without a very directly expressed opt-in methodology. Let's look at some more comments before we jump back into that. All right. Sales tax in Tennessee is 8 or 8.5. It's not terrible. North Carolina, Tennessee is driving distance. Canada sucks now, says we have an idiot for prime minister. Love Tennessee. Gorgeous. Sales tax in Minnesota is 6.875. Justin Trudeau. Yeah, I'm just not going to touch that, but I don't like him either. Okay. Don't care for his policies. Where you go, there's always idiots running around like they know best. I can name a few of them in my own local municipality and regionally. Just saying. I think he has an automatic poll in his position for being in the U.S., and I'm used to the president having that kind of pull, not a prime minister. So worst people in high positions is sad. True, but he is a piece of work which is screwing Canada up. But back to privacy. Skynet is everywhere. Yes. Google is the worst offender in data collection, but they actually keep a bunch private, but Intellis is just blanking scary. All right. I know he's hurting other countries too, putting all of Europe at risk. I don't like Trump personally, but at least he is strict on immigration, which he needs to be in his situation. Anyhow, now I'm treading on thin ice. Unbelievable. Well, you should be more concerned with Bill C-51. Anna, they haven't done anything yet. Why does a company need to know if my roof is a triangle or has an invisible fourth dimension? I don't know. Dark web approves of this process. Again, I hate to keep bringing this up on this channel, but it really does line up well. Hey, what did I miss? A whole lot of stuff, Albert. Okay, we should be starkly different if you're Christian. That is where we take a stand and be different. That's right. About the cat temptations. Those are dangerous. Yes, they are. Kitty temptations are dangerous, aren't they? Yep. Do you think much data is harvested from things such as domain name registration? I'm annoyed that my details were shared and I didn't realize that the hosting. Yes. Oh, God, do not get me started on that, Spider Eyes. I am so pissed at those companies. But the reality is, like, and I sell, I'm a reseller for web hosting domains, so you can buy a domain through me. When you buy a domain through me, the first line of address actually is my business domain. The second line is the privacy I can sell you on top of that. So all of that collection stuff that they collect is actually just my subcorp somewhere else, which I very frequently get. I mean, I think daily I get 10 or so of those stupid emails, either for SEO submission, which is an absolute fraud, or domain scams trying to steal your domain. So the biggest problem there is that to transfer your domain or initially register your domain, it still goes on the public list. So domain privacy really does nothing except prevent manual lookups. The actual because I can buy a domain with privacy in place when I buy it, they still get access to my contact information. And so that's an issue. Provided I has changed policy when I registered a second domain, didn't even realize until a couple years later that has happened. That stays on the Whois historic database, it seems. Yes, it always perpetually stays there essentially forever, which is really annoying because scammers use that information to get it and then just mass add those emails that you have to use to your scam lists. And that's why I just make sure I isolated it in one special email. Kitty is more than happy with his current treats. He does not need a new promo for 50% off. No, and I still have 3 or 4 unopened packages of Temptations laying around. I do not think I've ever bought Temptations in my life. They're always just given to me. But I don't use them a lot, and so I just have stockpiles of them. He's content. He doesn't care. Save your money and discard the emails. Yep. I wonder if people would buy into mass intranet setups. Domain and hosting company keeps a lot of details. Yes. All right. So about all of this data collection that these back-end groups were looking for, the FTC recommended Congress do something about it. And then the big companies came back and handed Congress a whole bunch of data bill, a whole bunch of dollar bills. And I'm pretty sure that's why I've never heard of this beforehand. So basically, there was a report done in 2014 by the FTC. They recommended that Congress require data broker industry to be more transparent and give consumers greater control over their personal data. Now, I will say that, and I have not looked this up yet, and I really should, but there is a place that you can mail in, and it will basically make it illegal for a company to send you junk mail. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I've never actually done that, but basically it is. So there's this big report. This is it. It's a 110-page report on the issues of transparency. So you can read this, and I'll put the link in the video here, so you can read about what all this is. But basically what they're finding is there's really not any choices that we have as consumers. So let's go back over to the main article. They summarize it. So among the findings, data brokers collect consumer data from extensive online and offline sources, largely without the consumer's knowledge, and ranging from consumer purchase data, social media activity, warranty registrations, magazine subscriptions, religious and political affiliations, and other details of consumers in everyday life. Now, this is why I'm actually against one of the things that bothers me about the church I attend right now is that they have this community builder, which is all an online system, but it's hosted on another site. So some third-party company has access to all of that information, but to do anything in there, they got to have your email in there, and I don't like that. But that's kind of the reality of it. I haven't really made any big deal about it, mostly because I haven't taken the time to research the company anymore. I really should, and I don't do as much on there, but I'm also a Financial Peace University coordinator, and so I have to be in there as a coordinator. So, and so I get that. It doesn't bother me a lot, but it's definitely is a challenge because all of these types of things bother me. Now, what pisses me off more than anything, and I'm not going to go on this topic for too long because I try and keep the Christian stuff on my Christian channel, but what really irritates me more than anything is if I choose to do business with one particular ministry and then they sell my data to some other ministry and then some other group's like, hey, you bought something over there or did work with them, so we think that you want to do that. Oh, the cat's being cute. All right, there's the cat. He's being cute. But anyway, if a Christian ministry contacts me without me contacting them first, they hear it from me in very stern ways. And I remember, who was it? Samaritan's Purse. That group pisses me off. They're the ones behind the Operation Christmas Child. So I still do a shoebox every single year. I just got to the point where I don't fill out that card that goes in there. I just fill out the box, I throw cash in the envelope, and I put the empty envelope in the church collection. And so I'm still helping. But what made me stop doing anything with them is I did a shoebox. You put the information in there. And, you get that. And then, of course, you and I never opted at anything, but all of a sudden they decided they wanted to start mailing me stuff. Like, we want donations. We're looking for donations. And I sent them a very nice letter back. I appreciate your ministry. I know who you are. I know what you do. I, gladly do a shoebox every year. But I am very specific with where I give my donations, and I am not interested in donating to you. Please take me off your list. And they kept sending stuff, and I eventually sent them a very, very stern letter, basically saying, you are a Christian ministry, start acting like it. Have faith, don't sit here and use business trends. they finally sent me a big apology letter and an autobiography by their Franklin Graham, their founder, or whatever, Billy Graham's son. And I haven't heard much from them since, but it's just like, stop. We do not need to be sharing all this data back and forth. And that's just kind of the way I run. All right, so anyway, the FTC continues. Consumer data often passes through multiple layers of data brokers sharing data with each other. In fact, 7 of the 9 data brokers in the commission study had shared information with each other, meaning that if any one company grabs data from you, all of them get it in a very short period of time. Data brokers combine online and offline data to market to consumers online, and that gets back to that temptation issues, poking and prodding you to figure out the way you're going. Data brokers combine and analyze data about consumers to make inferences about them, including potentially sensitive inferences such as those related to ethnicity, income, religion, political leanings, age, health conditions, potentially sensitive categories from the study are urban scramble and mobile mixers, both of which include high concentration of Latino and of African Americans with low incomes. The category rural everlasting includes single men and women over the age of 66 with, quote, low educational attainment and low net worths, end quote, and other potentially sensitive categories, including health-related topics or conditions such as pregnancy, diabetes, high cholesterol, or apnea, passes out updates with open envelopes that clearly stated the person receiving that letter has HIV. Yeah, that's a problem. Check out my news on Saturday for that article. Many of the purposes for which data brokers collect data pose risks to consumers, such as unanticipated uses of data. For example, category like biker enthusiasts could be used to offer discounted motorcycles to the customer, but could also be used by an insurance provider as a sign of risky behavior, which means higher insurance rates. Some data brokers unnecessarily store data about consumers indefinitely, which may create security risks. Duh. And to the extent data brokers currently offer consumers choice about their data, the choices are largely invisible and incomplete. And basically, there should be one place I can go to say, boom, all my data's gone from all of you guys. There's not. There's like 3 of them or whatever of the hundreds that exist will have the option that you can write to them and they'll remove the data. Of course, until they share all of that data again. So there's really no way around this. And this is what the problem is. Okay, so to help rectify the lack of transparency, the Commission encourages the Congress to consider enacting legislation that will enable consumers to learn about the extents and activities of data brokers and provide consumers with reasonable access to information about them. And I would say to delete that. So we need a centralized port. We need access to give access to the data. We need opt-outs, requiring opt-out tools, a way for consumers to suppress the use of their data. Inferences require data brokers to tell consumers that they derive certain information from raw data. Data sources to require data brokers to disclose the names and or categories of their data sources. Okay, this is critically important because this one here will get rid of a lot of scams and spams. Notice and choices require consumer-facing entities such as retailers to provide prominent notice when they share information and sensitive data. All right. So that's kind of what's going on here. Let's go back and have a look at the stuff. Again, UK, some providers offer free privacy, but sounds like a waste of time from what you have just said. Yep, pretty much. US providers charge as you've said. Yep. Hey, Maverick, how's it going there? My iPhone SE allowed me to opt out of analytics and advertising, which is why I upgraded from a flip phone. However, I'm struggling with the change and have been eyeing a Samsung Rugby. Yeah, good luck. Brother told me they do not manage their money well at all. They are ranked fairly low on the charity watch list. Yeah, there is a charity watch list out there. I've never actually looked them up. Let's go ahead and look them up real quick. I cannot spell charity. All right, let's see what I can find on Samaritan's Purse. There's Charity Navigator and Charity Watch List. I can't spell, by the way. Let's see if that gets me close. Okay, if you build a website, make sure the search function works, people. Clearly a search function, it doesn't work. Overall score is actually 96 out of 100, 94 out of 100. So that's actually what they're saying. That's actually remarkably good. I don't know. Look that up later. All right. A lot better charities out there. St. Jude's Christian Research Hospital being one of them. And Billy Graham feels no remorse in his country house that is bigger than any size barn I've ever seen. Yep. Nothing wrong with a Christian having money or even being rich. It's just the money's that's evil. It's the love of money. Yes, that is true. Yeah, and I'm okay with a rich Christian. That's fine by me. We got to watch out for the health and wealth weirdos, but, you know. New Zealand, my friend who's an analyst, has clearance, has to wait 4 weeks to obtain any data and must have a really good reason for the request. Yeah, not here. It's like, oh, he bought a speaker. Yep, we'll get it, steal all his data. Yep. Again, he's, like he said, stuff is for the Christian channel. Okay. Congress will not entertain the idea of that stuff as long as we allow lobbyists to exist and shell out money to them. Yep. All right. So that's kind of my take on that kind of stuff. So what can we do about all this data collection? Well, obviously, I mean, just do some of the basics. The basic offline things I always say, you know, use cash, don't use Shoppers Club cards. Put pressure on your grocery stores to have a Shoppers Club discount card at the registers. I'm still working on Wegmans. Wegmans doesn't do that, and it actually irritates me. But my other choices are the places that drop garbage on the ground and try and sell it. So I don't want to go there. But, you know, don't use Shoppers Club cards. Use cash everywhere that you can. Just be cautious. You know, don't give out your name and your address or your email or any information about you unless you absolutely want to. That means if you're going for a haircut, they're like, ooh, what's your name? Their type of name. If they ask what's your name and there's a computer there, tell them Bob. That's all you're getting. Bob. All right. And so, you know, don't allow yourself into these things, which at times, sometimes you even feel like a jerk doing that. But it's like, you know what? I do not allow you to collect my data. No, you're not entering my name into that computer. Okay. And that's the reality, is that I do not want that type of information, but it's becoming so much to the point. Oh, the cat is being cute. Kitty, kitty. He's just being cute. All right. But you want to just be very aware as you're out and about in the world that you're not leaving behind a trail of data that can be swept up. Now, on your phones and devices, tablets, and your Windows 10s computers, do not download and install any apps that are not absolutely required. And make sure that you are auditing and checking into the apps. Use open source apps where possible. So, for example, I do not use the built-in music app on the iPhone. I don't do it. I use VLC on mine because, you know, open source software. So that's what works well for me. So, you know, make sure that you're using that type of stuff. You know, open source software when you can. Don't install any unnecessary apps. As far as the home networks are concerned, as much as I like supporting people on ads, and so for like YouTube, I will not block Google ads necessarily, even though they do a lot of data collection, which kind of bothers me. But for that one application, so my one computer that I use to watch YouTube videos, I don't block Google ads on that, but I don't do a lot else on that computer. But any other computer that you have, I'd run ad blockers, ad blocking scripts, or anything else. Now, there's other options you have. If you have a bigger network, consider running either Pi-hole or NoTrack. I've never really seen much on NoTrack except Sudo Reboot did a video on it last week, and it's really awesome. It's basically like Pi-hole. So what Pi-hole is it's basically a black hole for all that crap. It blocks out advertising sites. It blocks out bad sites on the internet. So it will act as both a adult site filter and as a ad blocking filter for your house. You use a Raspberry Pi, you plug it into your router, you configure it, and then you point your router's DNS server to the Pi hole. And then what'll happen is that thing is going to filter everything out from every device connected to your network. That's a win. NoTrack is essentially the same way. I've not used either of those. Now, what I'm doing is I'm building my new pfSense router, and I'm actually going to be putting the blocking scripts directly on that router. So I think what I might end up doing is I might just let Google through on that, and then I'll just block Google on the computers individually, kind of like I do Facebook. I wouldn't block Facebook on the global just because I still do have a few reasons I need to get onto it for work things and for, keeping up with a couple of people that I still run into every now and again over there. And so that's kind of what you can do about it. Just be conscious of your data, and also get off of Windows 10. If you have to run Windows 10 for some application, then isolate it. Use Windows just for that particular application, and use a Linux system for anything else. And then just make sure that Linux system is locked down. I'm considering also using Tor for anything that is more sensitive type data. If you're looking up medical conditions, or you're looking up, basic, like even if you're in school research stuff, use Tor if you can, because you'll get a little bit better security in that respect, prevent more data collection going in that respect. Of course, if you're blocking every single tracker on your network level, you're probably okay without it. But, all of those are little things that help. So be aware of the data collection, be aware of all of this privacy tracking, and be aware that the ultimate purpose, it's not to collect all your information for the government. Even worse, it's to collect all your information to give it to a company who really, really, really wants to test you on every single level so that they will get you eventually to buy. Because it's all about separating you from your money, and it is not in any way, shape, or form about what's best for you. It's all about their bottom line. And that's the problem that I see with it. So let's go ahead and have a look at some comments. I see comments are going a little crazy. Okay. Begin to care more about your bottom line than the people you serve, you got a problem. That's the problem. Unplug and use Wi-Fi with Tails installed at your local business with Wi-Fi. There you go. That's a good way to go. Or go old-fashioned barber if you can still find one. They have a lot of stories to tell you. Actually, I do. There is a place in State College here where you go in there and they don't take credit cards. They don't have a computer in the place. You go in. They just, next in line, everyone just goes in, sits in a chair. It's next in line. You go up there. Costs like, I don't know, $12, I think, for a haircut, which is way cheaper than all the other places. But they got no computers, no anything. That's the way to find the barbers, I'll tell you. Using Linux distros, just not Tails. I have my data separated off on one machine now that's available over my home network, but isn't connected to the internet unless I need to upload to the cloud. I use Spider Oak 1. Cool. How does Spider Oak work for you? Running Linux Mint on my remote services and business productivity machines. Sweet. Mark Flossie. Flossie, I think. Microsoft uses on your Windows 10 PC smartscreen.exe to see and track every app you download. Yep. So I don't use it. US and UK, which is a little bit like what Radio Shack was, but crappy, always used to ask for your postal code and your house number at the tills, apparently for marketing, which just meant junk mail. Yep. And actually, and that brings up a fascinating point, because what happens when one of these companies that has all your data goes bankrupt? Well, what happens, there's a mad scramble to buy the company, because they're not really buying the company for the assets, they're buying it for the mailing list. And Radio Shack had the hugest mailing list they're known to man. Dual boot Mint and Windows 8 so I can better support my clients running Windows. Yep. I have a Windows 10 machine in a little drawer down here on just a little micro PC that's, if I need a Windows 10 machine, I got one so I can look things up, but this thing's on like once every 3 months. Just to update it, essentially. Say I didn't want to give it, but they have to put something in it, so I end up having to put in the store postal code. I tell them 12345, and then they look at me funny. I'm like, it's none of your business what my postal code is. They did that at Ollie's, like, what's your zip code? 12345. Well, it's just to know if we should build an Ollie's closer to where you live. Like, no, it's not. You know? No. Are you that ignorant? Of course. Oh, well. What about proprietary software that's an industry standard but requires a constant internet connection? 3ds Max, for example, or ZBrush. I don't know anything about ZBrush. 3ds Max is, of course, they're moving to a full subscription model that's going to completely put any indie game developer out of business. Yay for Blender. But yeah, I would not. I am done running software that absolutely requires me to be connected to an internet. No. It means they're collecting and harvesting too much data. No, I don't want it. Switch to Manjaro, over to Tails, and even have Manjaro and separate hard drive the same system. Yeah, Tails though you don't install. It's essentially a live system. You can set it up with a persistent drive to store your data, but you don't actually install Tails. If you want an installable one that runs Tor, you either want to run the Unix OS or you want to run Cubes. And I'd probably run Cubes because you can do Tor and non-Tor easily and separate things out a little bit better. Just requires more system requirements to do that. pfSense is a beast on a dual socket. Sweet. Make a video on putting blocking script on pfSense. All of the video, all I'll be doing is just updating the host file, same I've done many times here before. Just get the script and paste it into your host file. Subscription software and online activation are a real pain. Yep, I don't use them at all. Didn't 3ds Max used to have a physical hardware lock dongle years ago? I don't know if they had a physical hardware years ago. I have no idea. Saying, Big Brother is stealing your brainwaves from your VR headsets. Not me. I got a tinfoil hat on. My brainwaves are protected from Big Brother. Use Control by ConnectWise and AnyDesk for remove services, but I'll soon enough only be using AnyDesk. Wife just said, why is your cat not as cute as Tom? I'm guessing, why is your cat not as cute as Tom's? Said, well, he has one big bad. Well, the thing is that I am reasonably certain that my cat is either a mutant or a space alien that is genetically engineered for maximum cuteness, because this thing is like the cutest animal you'd ever see in your life. And if you notice, he's like praying. Let me see if I can, give me a second. I'll see if I can zoom in on him there. Hold on. Well, not if I push the wrong button. I won't be able to zoom in on him. Where are you at, Mr. Kitty Camera? Whoa. Whoa. There you go. Zoomed in kitty. Whoa. Have a video to make Netgear router. Have a video to make a Netgear router secure. No, I don't recommend Netgear routers. They suck. I've just never had any Netgear device that lasted longer than 6 months. Surprise me, you're tracking your eyes to see what items are on the screen to attract attention. Actually, Microsoft is embedding that into Windows now as part of their accessibility. Spider Oak isn't great if you have a lot of data. It tends to work better for those that have less data. Do you know anything about Privacy Badger in Firefox? I noticed it was a new extension. If I'm not mistaken, I think Privacy Badger was one of the ones that had some controversial stuff about it, but I don't remember for sure. No, I don't know anything about it. Oh, I think I lost my place again. Off topic, but I want to cover at least some point of this live stream. You can answer the question later. What is your opinion of Mozilla Firefox's censorship? I have not seen anything on Firefox's censorship. I have not been looking for it either. So maybe I'll have to look it up. I've heard something about it, but I really don't know much more. So I'll have to look into that and maybe comment on it later. If I don't install uBlock and I install Privacy Badger, though, wait. You would know better than I would right now. If I don't install uBlock, I install Privacy Badger, though. I would just put a big ol' ad blocking script in your host file is what I would do. I think uBlock is better, by the way. I remember some controversy around Privacy Badger, I think. I'd go with uBlock or Ad Blocker Plus. I don't know. Noisier than my mother. Wants too much information. Yeah, that's what I thought. Everyone wants real privacy. Download, install Tens Linux. Tens Linux? I've not heard of Tens Linux. I'll have to look into that. EFF put out long ago with Secure Web Everywhere. Wouldn't let me put the real name in, though. I thought it was a link. I'm guessing use MX16 at Joe Johnson. All right. I think I was... The internet's well aware of the Joe's love for MX16 now. 16.1. Privacy Badgers from EFF. Huh. Okay. Maybe it is safer then. I don't know. I mean, I sort of trust the EFF. Tens is interesting, but remember it was developed through NSA and NSF. Tens? You thinking Tor? I don't know. What's your opinion on Firefox Focus? I have not used it yet, but I should actually try and give it a try if it'll work on my device. Firefox Focus, if you're unaware, is a new Firefox app for mobile devices that, in theory, is supposed to block pretty much every ad network there is. So in theory, then that should be able to run quite a bit quicker. And so it might be a good thing. I've not tried it yet, though. I don't know anything about Tens, so I can't say one way or the other about that. Dave Collins was talking about Firefox getting involved in weeding out alt-right searches. Dave Collins, though, thinks everybody's weeding out alt-right searches. So, and Firefox doesn't really have anything to do with searches. It depends upon the search engine that you have installed. So, as much as I do actually watch some Dave Collins, he is a little bit crazy. Not quite Alex Jones crazy, but he's getting there. Is NoScript's Firefox extension good to have along with the side of the host file? You know, if I'm concerned about running JavaScript that I'd want to run NoScripts, I just disable JavaScript. But yeah, if you want to selectively disable JavaScript, then yeah, NoScript is pretty good. Trusted and known security. Yeah, Frank's saying 10s is a distro. I know nothing about it. Never heard of MX16 not working with any hardware. Which distro do you HTTPS everywhere, yep. Hey, Fatal, how's it going there? We're just wrapping up, man. Is that a standard sounds like a competitor TNO? Forgive me if I missed the quoted. Oh, boy. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. Let's see, a few more comments coming in. We're going to wrap her up then. X16, Debian distro, I'm pretty awesome. Talk about anonymous browsing, but what we need is anonymous computing. Literally cut the cord and disable Wi-Fi. Device, revert back to the golden age of home computing. Yeah, you know, I'm with you, man. I miss those days. I really do miss those days when you could turn on your computer and choose whether you went on the internet or not. Frankly, I think we were a lot more productive too. You know, you did all your stuff offline, and then when you needed to get on the internet to check email or to research a website, you know, and then you're online, you know? And so I do miss those times when things were not perpetually online. They were better, in my opinion. Lightweight portable security is a Linux Live CD developed and publicly distributed by the United States Department of Defense. Well, that's exciting. Some of the attraction to retro computing has got to the lack of need of constant updates and privacy invasion. Yeah, you know, a system that, this is the why we need to keep our cars off the internet, is because a computer that is not on the internet, like Windows 95 was perfectly fine as long as you weren't online. You know, and that's kind of the thing. Do a video sometime on security hardening a Linux install. You know, I do have the Cube series you can look at for that. Your phone didn't work. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap this bad boy up. Let's go ahead and we're going to end with feeding the kitty. Oh, yeah. Kitty knows it's the end of the live stream. Look at that perkiness. Oh, you know what's coming, don't you? Yeah, you know what's coming. No, over here. Over here. Oh, smell in there. Oh, yeah. Like that. Go. One more. Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone. I hope you enjoy switching to Linux.